That is SideShow Annie and a Love Drug from their very latest album, Big Black Dog. And SideShow Annie have been on my radar for a few years now, and I've been playing their music. But today, I am delighted to say that today they join me here in the studio in the form of Gillian and Elliot.
Irene,
welcome.
Hi, Irene.
Hi, it's so lovely to have you here finally.
I know, I finally get to meet you in person.
Yeah, because it's been a few years, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
It has,
when did your very first album come out?
The first one came out in 2006, so a while ago. We're now on our fourth, and I think we also did an EP. But the first one was Delusions of Grandeur, 2006. We actually recorded it at Tweed Heads. And then we opened our own professional recording studio. We had it designed by the same guy who did Sony and a few of the other. We're from the Blue Mountains, so a few other of the big studios in Sydney. And and we just started kind of doing our own. And Elliot's done a lot of other bands from that, the Blue Mountains, from Canberra, from Sydney. So he's pretty amazing.
Elliot, tell us a little bit about your background, because I know a little bit, but very interesting, very fascinating.
Okay. Thanks, Irene. Yeah. I started, Jill and I got together in about 2005. We went in a local band competition, and we thought we'd just try a hand at writing some original songs together and see how we went. And thought, well, if it doesn't amount to anything, it won't amount to anything. And anyway, we're sort of like, we were really fortunate. So we won the competition, and sort of like, and here we are, 2018. We've been around the world a few times, touring different countries and things like that. And it's been really good. It's been very good to us. I started playing in bands in about 1979, and ended up by the early 90s playing with Matt Finish and bands that I'd always looked up to. And when I was a young fella, and so I think I've always really written my own songs. And when I met up with Jilly, it was just like a dream come true. She's just so good with melodies and lyrics, and just and we worked really well together as a team. I think.
Yeah,
it's good fun.
Yeah, oh, that's great. That's really good news. Now, what did come as a surprise to me is that you have connections here in Cairns.
Well, actually, Elliot has more connections in Cairns with his friend Tim.
Yeah, Tim Lawton we're talking about from Just for Kicks. So I'm sure he's probably tuned in, although he's working today. And also Maz Verrick. Yeah, they're a great little band. We love our Just for Kicks, and if you want to party, you get out and see Just for Kicks, and you can get up on the dance floor. But I was really surprised that you got up and actually performed with them on Saturday night.
With them on Saturday night. Yeah, it was great fun. Yeah. It was just great fun. Just doing covers.
Yep. Tim and I went to public school together in 1970, and I think the last time we saw each other properly was 1976.
Oh, wow.
So Friday night was a bit more of a reunion than a reunion. It was so huge, and we got up on stage together, and we're just like, can't believe this. This is so awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Because then you get torn away, you go to different schools, you move to different areas, and life gets in the way, and all of a sudden, here we are, and we're rocking out together in Cairns.
Isn't
it was
that
just
fantastic?
Cool.
Yeah.
Facebook is an amazing thing.
Yeah. And doesn't he look great?
Amazing.
I know. He looks about 25 or something.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah. And then Maz Verrick, who's the drummer and singer with Just for Kicks. Well, he does sing some songs.
Bit of both.
Yeah, because Steve, who's the front man, is a bit of a spunk.
It's funny, Maz used to be in a band called China White, and I remember playing gigs in the Cross with different bands during the 80s, and we'd met before, and then when we mentioned it at this the other night, it was like...
The Gordon Vale?
At the Gordon Vale. It was just sort of... wow, like it's 2 degrees of separation, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Australian music industry.
And it was just bizarre because Maz used to actually, I was married before when I was very young. That's what brought me to Australia. And I'd grown up in Los Angeles. I was born in England, but I was raised in Canada. And my parents decided to make a big move to California. So I went to Beverly Hills High with some of the people and actually rented a house with the guys from Poison. So Maz was just over the moon listening to all those stories and going to school with Slash and all of his kind of heroes. And then we realized that my first husband and I bought a store, we started a store in Sydney called Drum City, and Maz used to come shopping there. So it was just like, wow, talk about 6 degrees of separation. So we actually had a barbecue on the weekend as well as catching up at the gig and just had the most amazing conversations. It was just so much fun. So,
that's fantastic.
It was fun.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you about your accent.
Yeah. It's a bit of a fruit salad.
Wow.
Bit strange, but I've been here a long time. Been here over 32 years now. So love it. Just love Australia.
Oh yeah, you'd be great people to have a drink with, or two.
Or six.
And even you and I have, us three have kind of established that we've kind of got remote kind of connections anyway from my days in Sydney. I mean, I was in Sydney while I was with Good Morning Australia as entertainment producer from 84 to 91. Yeah, and I used to go to the pubs and go and check out the talent and get the bands on the show to close the show, and also go along to all the interviews and stuff.
Well, I remember those kind of things because I used to live next door to Jeff Duff, and I've always thought she looks so familiar. I'm sure I must have sat next to her at the Sea Ball or at the Mansell or around midnight or one of those clubs.
Yeah.
And because I just knew. And then when I saw the picture of you and Cole, Joy, the other night, and of course I'd worked at Jacobson's, I went, that's it. That's it. I knew it.
Wow.
So, just wild.
Jeff Duff, he's amazing too. Goodness me.
Terrific.
How does he do what he does? He's so energetic.
And he looks amazing.
I know.
And he still plays cricket like every week.
70 or something?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever told anyone how old he is. So, but he still plays cricket like every weekend and still lives in the same area. Just amazing. So, and it's so nice when you see people like that still loving what they do and still doing what they do and doing it so well.
Yeah, I ran into him again recently at a Channel 10 reunion about maybe 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. Time flies when you're getting old. But it was good to see him.
Well, you look
He's a
great.
sweetheart.
Thank about
you.
The age.
Anyway, well, we better play some music because you've got your guitar, and as I mentioned previously out in the reception, any man that walks in here with the guitar in his hand is very welcome.
Excellent.
Cool.
So, what you going to do for us?
I think we're going to do Big Black Dog, which is the title track, and it's a little easier to do because some of the songs are always harder to do when you haven't got a band or the drums. So we'll give this one a go.
Okay, thank you.
We haven't done it too much acoustically, but we'll do our best. So here we go. Put a leaf round my big black dog. I stuck a leaf around my big black dog. I took him out to the pond. There I watched him drown. Stuck around my neck. Don't want no chain. Stuck around my neck. I've got to chew this frame of mine. Rip a hole through my veins. I can't hold down this feeling. I just need to be free. Depression and a violence all took its toll on me. I struck a lead round my big black town. I struck that lead round my big black town. Took him out to the street. There I watched him wow. Well, I'll be right down. I took it down to the street. There I watched him walk. I took it down to the street. There I watched him walk. I took it down to the street. There I watched him walk. I took him out to the street. I watched him walk.
That's some very healthy pipes you got there, girl.
Thank you.
She told me she was going to back away from the
I was a
microphone.
bit worried. I shouldn't have eaten that bruschetta before I came in.
Oh, that was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad that you were able to come into the studio. In your how long is your holiday here?
We came up last Thursday, so we go
Right.
back on Friday. We're actually playing the Iron Fest ball up at Lithgow, in Lithgow. It's a big ball that they have. They have Iron Fest every year, which is kind of like a steampunk festival, and we're actually playing at their ball on the Saturday night, so we got to get back for that.
Oh,
So
what a shame, yeah.
And just doing an acoustic set on the Sunday. So
Right. It would have been great to have you at our blues club down at Portsmouth Club.
look,
on
maybe
Sunday.
next year.
Yeah.
We would love to. So just keep us in
Yeah.
in the loop, and we'd always love to come back and
Yeah.
have a play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
and have a drink.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I really enjoy it and love the show. So thank you.
Well, I was just looking. I think I've got like a 2011 album of yours,
Yep.
and then which was SideShow Annie, self-titled, right? And then 2012 album, Ghost Town.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
and now this one.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a gap between.
There was a bit of a gap. There was actually a bit of a lineup change. We actually had Lindsay Tebbett with us for 3 years from the Choir Boys on drums. And we had two of the girls. We had Tracy Edwards and Leonie Louise, who played rhythm and bass. There was a bit of a, Choir Boys, of course, like all these 80 bands are now getting big tours and doing huge comebacks, like with the festivals. And, you got the Eurogliders, you got the Models. I mean, all these bands that we just loved. So they're all doing, Matt Finish as well, because they asked Elle if he wanted to play at one stage. I wouldn't give him away. No, I'm not kidding. I'd share him. So they've all doing these big comeback tours. So Lindsay, of course, he's been with them since he was like 17. So of course he wanted to go off and do that. And then the girls, there was a relationship split. So things just kind of changed. And we really didn't know if we wanted to carry on.
Right.
We all had this wonderful bond. We've done Japan together and, but then things just kind of happened. There was this drummer, Matt Skelton, who's just amazing, who's been watching our band for a few years, who went, I'd love to jump in there. And James Roy, who had filled in for Trace a couple of times, said, look, and it just kind of evolved that we just reformed, didn't it, really? And then Wayne Edmonds, who's just terrific rhythm player, and him and Elliot actually do a lot of swapping between lead, which gives him a lot of leeway as well. And the two of them run out into the pub. They've got their, wireless whatever packs, and off they go.
Oh, right.
Oh, they have a ball, jump on people's tables and serenade them around, so it's just changed the dynamic. I mean, we're all still great friends, and any of them can get up and have a jam, but it's just, and then this album has just been sitting kind of on a back burner, not knowing what to do, and here it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here
Thanks.
with me today.
And we're thrilled to be here, so thank you.
So we better wrap it up, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought I might play another song from the album.
No worries.
Yeah, I've got one here called Corporate Devil.
Yeah?
Yeah. So,
Love it.
Yeah, you love that?
Yeah.
So thank you. We'll
Thank
say
you.
our goodbyes.
Thank
and,
you, Irene.
thanks so much.
And if
Lovely
you're ever
to
in
meet you.
Sydney, let us know.
I will.
We'll have a drink.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Thank you for having us.